What's going on, guys? It's Irish Shadow, and if you're like me, you've probably been playing Broforce. Now, I'm basically at the end boss, as you can see by the video on the screen. I can't, for the life of me, beat it, because it's not because of any ideas of where to hit it or anything. I know how to beat it. It's just I cannot beat it because this game needs a serious patch. And it needs it fucking now. It needs it now. A few things that I've noticed about Broforce, and don't get me wrong, it's a really good game. Probably it's probably the best game that has ever been on PlayStation Plus. Pretty much right up there with The Binding of Isaac and probably um, that fucking car soccer game. I can't really remember what it is right now. Whatever. But yeah, this is a solid game. It's really entertaining. It's fucking hilarious. I like some of the like characters that they reference. I don't like a lot of the characters. There are some that just kind of really piss me off because they're useless. But the thing is, this game wasn't programmed properly, I don't think. Or at least I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say it wasn't bug tested all the way through. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a lot of like frame rate issues that show up for some reason in the later half of the game. So basically, like, you start off in small islands, and then eventually, I think it is like halfway through the game, you start getting xenomorph infestations, and it seems like around that time is when all of these bugs start to occur. Now, I was kind of skeptical about the whole thing because basically when I started playing this, there was like there's a helicopter cutscene where it's like a helicopter flying through the jungle, and then it fades to black, and it would stay like that for about 10 seconds, which, yeah, okay, 10 seconds, not so bad. And then basically after that part where you are introduced to the xenomorphs, that 10 seconds turned into about 25 seconds. And I don't understand why. It's like, which is ironic because that part with the xenomorphs is basically the part where the PC beta version of this game ended. That's where the beta ended on PC. Right around the xenomorph infestation, which leads me to believe that they basically saw that this game was running fairly well on the PlayStation 4, and they said, well, if it works this well at these points, it'll work well through the entire game. No, not always the case. This is what I don't get. When developers, especially indie developers, because I have a huge problem with the amount of things that indie developers do, you should basically, when you think your game is done, get someone to play it from beginning to end. Get someone to play it from beginning to end, and if you run into issues, you know that they're there and you can fix them before releasing. But don't have someone play through fucking 20 or 30% of your game and then be like, oh, well, there's no bugs. There might not be any bugs in the other 60%. It doesn't work like that. Test your fucking shit all the way through before you release it. Because there are fucking frame rate issues, which you can basically see on the screen. like right, you can see it right here. When he fires a laser, it's in real time, and then when there's a whole bunch of explosions and everything, it goes from like 30 frames to about 25, 30, no, I would say about 15 frames, because depending on um how many pixels are on the screen, you get some major chuggage. And unfortunately, you can't really react with that amount of frame rate. Another little issue I've noticed is that every time, whether or not you start a new level or you die, it will bring you back to like the beginning of the stage, which is fine. I don't really care about that. The problem is when you take a few steps, it will act as if your controller um is not on, and you'll basically stand there for about 2 or 3 seconds, which is enough for you to get absolutely fucked. So this game needs to be patched right away. But like other than these, see, you can see that fucking frame rate drop right there. And it's not like I'm editing the video to actually do that, because apparently a lot of people I know are having this issue as well, and this shit has got to stop. Like, this game isn't that technologically advanced that it needs to have like fucking 4K graphics or any of that shit. It's not supposed to. But the fucking frame rate needs to be fixed. The loading time needs to be fixed. The multiplayer needs to be fucking fixed. It's so hard to get into a lobby and help like and play with other people unless you were actually invited to the lobby. Like, seriously, fix your fucking games or just stop creating them altogether.